see at the top of the page is the rule that we'll be using. You should have seen this in Algebra 1. We do things in Algebra 1 that is like you have a base and it's raised to a fraction, but in Algebra 1 we limit it to powers of like 1 over 2, 1 over 3, 1 over 4. And then in Algebra 2, we're not in Kansas anymore, you get different numbers on the top of the fraction. So if you look over here, so this should not be new to you. This is a chart of perfects that you'll have all units. We are going to avoid using our calculator for these kind of problems and give you the chart instead. So anything squared gives me perfect squares like 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 35, and so on. You know them, you love them, you've seen them before. So that's your perfect squares that you see here, okay? And then you have perfect cubes, which we've been doing. I don't have the poster in here right now, so it's in the flex space. But hopefully you know perfect cubes are like 1, 8, 3 to the third power is 27, 4 to the third power is 64, and so on. That's your perfect cubes. We've done these before. To the fourth power and fifth power is what's new, and that's the stuff you're going to start to see this unit. I don't expect you to memorize all of these, but I do want you to start to know some of them, especially like you should know eventually what's 2 to the fourth power, what's 2 to the fifth power. So just to write an example, look here, you have 2. So how this chart works is this is 2, the n tells you what the base is, so that's 2 squared, because that's the n squared column. This is the n to the third column, so it is 2 to the third. This one is obviously 2 to the fourth. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 times 2, yes, okay. And then the last one is, sorry, it zoomed out, hold on. 2 to the fifth. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 5 times, right? Okay, so it'll tell you at the top what power am I raising it to. The number on the left side for n is your base. This should be helpful to you. Obviously, the next column is 3 squared, 3 to the third, 3 to the fourth, 3 to the fifth, and then so on. So we're going to use this to evaluate here in a second. All right, so moving down. We are not going to use a calculator for it. You're going to use a chart. So let's do the first one, 16 to the 1/4 power. The first thing we're going to do is switch it into radical form because looking at it like this makes it really confusing. But if you switch it into radical form, you are taking the fourth root of 16. Again, because 1/4 would switch over to a radical of the fourth root. And then you can use a chart if you need to. When I have a fourth root and it's 16, what to the fourth power is 16? It's 2. Okay, I'll show you. I'll circle it. It's kind of like a multiplication chart. So if I have the fourth power and I have 16, that means that my base has to be 2. Do you see where I'm getting that from? Okay, so 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. So my answer to this is 2. Okay? Again, if you're confused, why? Because 2 to the fourth power is equal to 16. Okay, 64. This one's weird because you have a 2 now on the top. So first we're going to rewrite it. It is the cube root of 64. But then it gets raised, so that's the bottom number, okay? So the bottom number, 3, tells you what goes in the crook. And then the top number tells you what power you raise it to. So the cube root of 64 raised to the second power. We do one thing at a time. Okay, we're going to color code here. So we look for cubes. Try and find it for me. 5 cubes, and I have 64. What's the third power of 64? 4. Do you see it right there? Okay, I've done it in red. So that means that this is going to become, because that was just the inside part, that's 4 squared. Which means that our final answer is whatever 4 squared is, which is 16, right? I'll do it up here. Okay, the last two are written in radical form. So the first thing we're going to do is switch it over into showing you what that would look like as an exponent. So all of these can be written as fractions as exponents. So if I have the fifth root, that is the same thing as 3,125 to what power? 1/5. And the purpose of showing you this is because we do expect you to be able to go back and forth. Like if I ask you to rewrite it, which is what's on your assignment today. Sorry, that didn't show up very bright. You should be able to tell me what that should look like. Okay, 1/5. But now let's go ahead and evaluate it. So can you please, we can talk to your table, find it, 3,125. Okay, fifth power. 3,125 means that 5 raised to the fifth power is 3,125. I'll be honest, that's not one I know by heart. So 5. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to rewrite this first. So that is the same thing as 343 raised to what fraction? 1/3. All right, so then go ahead and find the answer for me.
7.
It is, so to the third power again, 343. 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. 49 times 3. Okay. So that's the first thing today, is just like going back and forth between these fractions and a radical and then telling me what's the answer. Okay. Your exponent rules, you should know these. If we have multiplication of the same base, what do you do with your exponents? You add, right? If you have division, you subtract. And then the last one we talked about yesterday is, well, kind of the last one. When you have power to a power, you multiply. Okay, so this is your recap. This is what we learned yesterday, or, well, really what you learned on your own, right? The last thing that was on that blue paper was these two, which tell you to do what? This is the distribute. Do you remember that? So it's where you take the exponent to all of the things. So every base. First one we didn't talk about yesterday is we're not going to really talk about much. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So a to the 0 power is 1. 5. So for example, 5 to the 0 power is 1. 256x to the 0 power is 1. Okay. Rule is this one that we did not talk about yesterday. If you have a negative exponent, you are going to send it to the other side. Sorry, that's kind of small. So if I have a negative exponent, I send it to the other side. It's the same thing it says on the wall. Your example there is a to the negative m becomes 1 over a to the positive m. So here's another example. X to the negative 10th power. When we have this, we don't like it. We don't like negative attitudes. We don't like negative exponents. So we put it over a fraction if there's not one. And then you literally take it and you send it down to the other side, or vice versa. If it's on the bottom, you send it up. So this becomes then 1 over x to the positive 10. Anytime you have an empty spot with exponents, you do have to fill it with a 1. Okay, look at this first one for me. I have the same base in multiplication. What do I do with my exponents? Add. Okay, so we're going to write down the rule, and then we're going to do it just like you did yesterday, right? Just because it's fractions, we don't need to freak out. It's the same rules. You're not in Algebra 1 anymore. That's what it says to do, is we got to do the same stuff, but with fractions. So 3/4 plus 1/2 Okay, if you remember from elementary, middle school, when you have the same, when you're trying to add or subtract fractions, you have to have common denominators. So I'm going to do this, and if you're with me, that means that you should do this too, okay? Don't use your calculator if you can do this stuff. I know that changes to a 4, which would mean if I multiply by 2 in the bottom, I have to multiply by 2 in the top. So 1/2, same thing as 2/4, which is, now when I add those, I get 5/4. I do not get 5/8. So that means my answer here, that was just my exponents. So my final answer is 2 to the 5/4 power. It would make my heart really happy if you can do this without a calculator. If you can't, that's not a problem. Everybody's calculator is different, just a heads up. If you have a Casio, most likely it's going to have fraction button for you, and the newer Casios have like box over box. Casios are my favorite with fractions. TI calculators are a little bit more finicky. I might have to come show you, but usually on TIs, if you're trying to do like 3/4, I usually just do 3 divided by 4. Especially on the older ones, if you have a newer TI calculator, it might do something fancier, but that's the fastest way. You do have to do it in parentheses, okay? If you have a question on your calculator, just ask me or I can come look at it and show you. Sometimes this is button A, B/C. Same base, division. What do? Subtract. This is on the top, you have 3 to what power? 1. So you're going to subtract your exponents. We're going to write that down. This is the stuff you did yesterday. You can think of it like canceling 2, but I usually just do that if the number's bigger on bottom. So I'm going to do 1 minus a 4th. Okay, you can think of it like I have a cup and I take away a 4th. That would give me 3/4. Or common denominators. This is the same thing as if I have 4 on the bottom, be 4 over 4, right? Because that's 1. So now if I subtract that, I get what? 3/4. That's just the exponent, so make sure your final answer looks like this, 3 to the 3/4 power. If you would rather do that on a calculator, you just do 1 minus a 4th in your calculator. It should tell you the answer is 3/4. What do you do with exponents when they're like this? Distribute and multiply, right? Which is kind of implied, but just in case we're confused. This is not that hard. It looks kind of scary. But when you go to multiply, and it would be good for you if you're especially going to college algebra pre-calculus to get good at this. The 3 gets multiplied to the top of the fractions only. So when I go to multiply here, and the reason for that, why, is because this is 3 over 1. So when I go to multiply, it's 1/3 times 3 over 1 for the first one. This was really confusing for me when I was in 5th grade. I was like, I do not know what's happening. And my 5th grade teacher was a little aggressive, and she was like, just multiply straight across. She was a little bit feisty about it. So you multiply straight across, and you get 3 over 3, which we know is 1. So that is why you get 5 to the 1st power. And then the next one, same kind of process, right? 1/4 times 3 over 1, multiply straight across, you get 3/4. Okay, so you have 5 to the 1st times 7 to the 3/4 power. Do I combine these? No. Do they have the same base? No. They have different bases. When that happens, that means that you do not combine. So you're going to leave it like that. I've got an exponent on the outside, exponents inside. What do? Distribute the exponent and multiply. Same thing. Multiply the exponents, right? Not the normal numbers. Remember, the 6 just get multiplied to the top. So I'm not going to write it all out this time. that means I would get 20 to the power of 6 over 2. So don't multiply to the bottom. And then 5 to the power of 6 over 3. Okay, we don't leave it like this because that looks tacky. When we know that we have things that can be simplified, we should do it. What's 6 divided by 2? 3. So it's 20 to the third power over 5 to the 6 divided by 2 is, or sorry, 6 divided by 3 is 2. This is your final answer because, again, there's no variables here. You have different bases. Do not combine them. Can you please try 9 and 10? If you need to use a calculator, that's totally fine. But if you can do it without, I think that's good. Okay, so please check those. I did common denominators and all that. If you do this in your calculator, you should get the same thing. Just a heads up, if you have a smaller TI calculator like these, and Desmos also works. If you're trying to do this on a calculator, these ones, this is so annoying. They will usually default to mixed numbers, which is terrible. So it would tell you it's like 1 1/6. So you have to convert it back into an improper fraction. If you're having that issue, let me know. I do know how to fix it, okay?